Ladies and gentlemen, greetings! I'm going to talk about the best albums of the second quarter of the year 2023. Of course, these are not all of the best albums that have come out, because I cannot, and no one cannot listen to all of the albums that come out. This is unfortunately impossible, but well, these are the albums that I have listened to, and I have reviewed all of them, so the links to the reviews are going to be in the description of the video, and in the description to each review you can find the links to the bands. At first, I have to do some shoutouts. These are the albums that are really cool or not, but I have to mention them. Let's start with the EP that was technically released prior to the second quarter of 2023, on March 31st, I mean. And this is Soulcarrion from Poland. They offer us some very intense, unholy black and death metal on their eponymous EP. Then I have to go with Italian Devangelic and their album Zoo. This brutal death definitely have some smell of some slime of the Nile. Then goes Blindfolded and Led to the Woods with their cool album Rejecting Obliteration. They offer us some cool technical death metal from New Zealand, with crushing rhythms, some nice melodies and unexpected arrangement twists. Crepitation with Monstrous Eruption of Impetuous Preposterosity. Here they play some cool technical slam and brutal death metal with insane vocal attack. And lastly I have to shout out War Against All by Immortal. This is all we like about Immortal, but it's exactly the problem. The album sounds like a piece of self-plagiarism. While very cool per se, in the context of Immortal's oeuvre, it's a disappointment, and I, as a fan of Immortal, feel disappointed about this album, so this is gonna end up in the list of disappointments of the year. Now let's go to the official list of the best albums of the second quarter 2023, and let's start with death metal with some dissonances. And I'm going to start with Maniaco. This is a Chilean technical death metal band that overwhelm us with some twisted, fast, dissonant music on their eponymous full length. Then we've got Asystole from the United States and their album Siren to Blight. They play crazy dissonant death metal that will require all of your attention. Another one of this kind is Nightmare and their album Deformity Adrift. This is another dissonant masterpiece with crushing rhythms. Very uneasy music. Another piece of uneasy music is VoidCeremony and their album Threads of Unknowing. This is where death metal encroaches on the territory of art rock, with their very intelligent twists and complex arrangements. So now that we have moved over to technical death metal, I have to speak of Veiyadra, the Japanese band, and their album Amalgam and Chaos. They play insane technical brutal death metal with very challenging material and refreshing sound. Now we are moving over to some really brutal stuff, and I want to start with Prophecy of Suffering and their Hymns of Hatred and Disgust EP. Turns out it's not really new material, but it was released in April, and we have some crazy pleasant brutal death metal here with very natural raw sound. Another piece of fast technical brutal death is Molested Divinity from Turkey and their The Primordial album. This is gonna put you in trance with their extreme meditation music. Another piece of extreme meditation music is Cadavoracity from Indonesia and Thailand. Their eponymous album will really test your ability to stomach intense music with relentless drum attack that blurs the line between brutal death metal and gore noise. Another one with very intense drumming is Nithing from the United States, and the album Agonal Hymns. This is another look at the modern brutal death metal with insane drumming and crazy guitar work, amazing musicianship and very cool ideas. Same goes with Ascended Dead and the album Evenfall of Apocalypse. This is crazy, non-compromising old-school death metal with off-putting riffage and insane solo work from space. Going on with old school, I have to mention some Swedish old-school death metal with Necrofuneral from the Swiss band Vomitheist, or some call them Vomitheist, and All Heads Are Gonna Roll from Vomitheist. Swedish death metal at its best. When dancing to it in the mosh pit, be careful not to slip on the wretch on the floor. And I'm going to conclude the death metal section with the masterpiece Terrasite from Decapitation. They offer us a perfect blend of brutality and melodicism. Amazing vocal performance too, with cool cleans and Udo Dirkschneider screams. And of course, I dare not forget the new US-American band Lunar Chamber with their amazing EP Shambolic Vibrations. I have a feeling it is somewhat underappreciated, but it is totally worth checking out. They have a crazy mix of technical brutal death metal and psychedelic doom metal. I am very stoked to hear their new material, which is supposed to come out I don't know how soon, but I'm definitely waiting for it impatiently. Let's go over to black metal albums. I'm going to start with Elsin and the album Cult of Kukulkan, which is very cool technical black metal with intense twists and cosmic level of musicianship. Unfortunately, they decided to split up prior to the release of the album. Very sad. What is not sad, or maybe it is a little bit, is Dordheim's God with their black metal, with their black medium current. It's very interesting music with cool melodies, complex arrangements and insane vocals. Speaking of beautiful melodies, I have to go with Dawn of Ouroboros and the album Velvet Incandescence. They play cool technical black death metal with celestial magical melodies. And after Dawn of Ouroboros, we naturally transition to Botanist and their masterpiece 8 Selenotrope. This is an amazingly interesting band that never used guitars but created all of the magical melodies with a dulcimer instrument. This is gonna be a shock for a metalhead, but it is totally worth listening. Something more traditional but nevertheless very cool awaits us on the Black Royal Spiritism I.O. Sino da Igreja by the Portuguese-French band Ruim. This is post-black metal from Blasphemer. It's very pleasant to hear good old mayhem moves in new challenging music. Another challenging one is Upal by Konstantini. This is really crazy stuff from an American project with lyrics in Czech and heavy Oriental influences in the music that does not sound cheesy but never stops perplexing with its microtonal twists. Next is gonna be an album that is more accessible, and I'm speaking of Portraits by Audon. This is very cool melodic black metal with beautiful guitar lines. Speaking of beautiful guitar lines, let's mention Pessimism and the album Alternance. This is very entertaining black metal with amazing guitar melodies and cool bass work. I have one thrash metal mention for you, and this is Scorched by Overkill. Unlike Metallica, this is an energetic album with tons of cool melodies and real passion. Then goes a really cool grindcore album, Warfuck with their diptych, amazing fast grindcore. Warfuck? Fuck war. A couple of post-metal bands for you. Sermon of Golden Verse. These guys play some very well-made meditative music with cool melodies. And of course, let's not forget the Ocean Collective from Germany. On their new album Holocene, they give us a slab of experimental modern post-metal with cool arrangements. And we're finishing it on a doom note. First, let's go with Saturnus and the Storm Within. This is very pleasant death doom metal with mesmerizing melodies that will fill your heart with sadness. I'm concluding my list with Fires in the Distance and the album Air Not Meant for Us. This is basically the same stuff. Very similar melodies, but the music is a little bit more intense and fast. Very cool material. So, that was the list of the best albums, in my opinion, of the second half of the year 2023. Let's try to keep listening and discover some more cool music. Cheers.